these are just some of the basic Linux commands that we might learn in this subject. And there will be more commands that you may learn as we go along, as we progress in this subject and throughout the semester. I subdivided the file system task into 4 groups: working with directories, working with files, viewing empty files, and creating empty files. The first command is cd. Okay, this command will change the current working directory. So let's say here my left side is an Ubuntu server, and there are 3 files and 1 directory. You will know that this is a directory if the color of the text is blue. You will also know if you do this ls-l, if the first character in this file on the most left side of your screen is D. Okay, so this means test4 is a directory. Let's say this is a directory once again, test4. I want to go inside that directory. So what you'll do is cd test4, and you're now inside the test4 directory. Next command is pwd, or present working directory. This is just to determine what directory are you in right now. So if I will do pwd, I am now at the /home/jb/test4 directory. Next command is mkdir. Let's say I am now inside /home/jb/test4 directory. I want to create a directory called test5. mkdir test5. And then I want to go inside the directory called test5. Test5. I will determine what directory I am currently right in. I will do pwd, and I am now in the home/jb/test4/test5 directory. Okay, let's say I want to go back to the previous directory. You can issue the cd dot command. Okay, cd dot. So if I will do pwd, I am now in the /test4 directory. Next command is rmdir. Let's say I have the test5 directory inside the test4 directory. I want to remove it. I can do rmdir test5. So if you will do this command without some uh, configuration, some options, it will automatically delete your folder or file. I mean the folder because this is rmdir. Next command is ls. This command will list the directories, the files inside the present working directory. So if you press ls, we are inside the pwd4 folder or directory. There are no files on it. If we go back to the previous directory, which is our home directory, and we do ls, we can see that there are 3 files. Test3, test6.txt, and test7.txt. And we also have one folder called test4. That is ls. This will list all the directories, the files inside the folder. Let's say I have I want to look at the file size of a file. We can do ls minus l. This is basically the in comparison to Windows, the detailed when you open your file explorer. So here we can see, for example, for the test6 file, these are its permissions in which we will discuss later, the owner and the file size. This is the detail in which when was the file created, what time was it created. So this is the date and the time. So next command is rm. This command will remove the files. So let's say I want to remove the text, I mean that file called test7.txt. So I will just do rm test7.txt. So if we do ls, there is no test7.txt anymore. We have already deleted it. Next command is cp. Okay. So cp just copies a file or folder into another file or folder. Let's say I will copy test6 to test7 to a file named test7. So cp test6.txt test7.txt. So all we just did is copied contents of the file test6 into another file named test7.txt. mv. This command will move the file to another file or folder. Look at the difference between mv and cp. mv test7.txt to test8.txt. Then we will do ls. Here is test8, the text. But where is test7, the text? It's already gone. So what we basically just did is cut test7 and paste it in test8. So that is the equivalent in Windows, cut and paste. cp is copy and paste in Windows. cat. Okay. This command will display or dump the content of a file inside the file. Content of the file. So let's say I have a file in this directory. I have a file named passwd in the /etc folder. If I will press enter, it will display all the content of the file. Okay. But what if I just need the end lines of a file? Let's say the last 4 lines. Okay. There is a command called tail in which it will display only the last 10 lines of a file. Once again, the last 10 lines of a file. So if I will do tail /etc/passwd, it only will display the last 10 lines of a file. If we do this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, this This is the last 10 lines of the file name passwd in the directory slash etc. Touch. This will create empty files. This is useful for if you want to test something. If there are problems in a certain directory of a certain file, you can use this command. Let's say test that text. And if I will do ls, there is already, we have already created the state. Do test9.txt. There is now test9.txt. If I will do ls minus l, test9 was created a couple of seconds ago. If I will do the same command again after 1 minute, then you'll probably notice that this will change. You have basically opened the file, modified the file, but not the content of the file. So this command is just useful for testing something, testing a file, testing a directory. There is, if you notice that there is something wrong. So let's say I will do the same command again, touch test9.txt. Let's see if the time changes. It changed to the present time, which is 7:23. 7:23. Just skip it. We have four files here. Let's say I want to edit test9.txt. Edit or open test9.txt. There is a command in Ubuntu or Linux called pico test9.txt. So there are uh, plenty of default text editors in Linux, and Pico is one of them. This is the most simple. I find this simple because it has some commands, or the learning curve for this application, for this command is very simple. You can just basically need uh, 3 to 5 minutes just to learn the options for this command. So let's say I will add some content in the test9.txt file. My name is I have 3 daughters. I have one wife. I have one house. I live in the Philippines. So after you're done, if you want to save the file, you press Ctrl X and then press yes if you want to save. And then it will ask if you want to retain the same file name. You press enter. If you don't want to retain the same file name, you can do like that. Or you could do the same file name, press enter. So if you want to display the content of the file test9.txt, you could either do this one, pico. You can do cat test9.txt. So that is the content of cat test9.txt. So let's say you want to edit files which has admin rights. Only the root has access. So upon the creation of your first account in the installation of your Ubuntu server operating system, you are granted root rights as you installed Ubuntu. So this file, the file slash etc, I mean the file passwd in the folder slash etc needs admin access. If you do this, it will prompt that file etc passwd is unwritable. So even if you edit, and then you save it, it will not save because you are not part of the admin group. But what I've said a while ago, upon the installation of your Ubuntu server, the first user that you have created has been afforded admin rights. So what you'll do is just use this command or precede the command with sudo. Okay. So any file that you want to edit that has admin rights, you must precede the command with sudo. Okay, so sudo pico, then it will ask for your password, and then you can now basically edit this file. Edit, save it as much as you want. I will not edit this. I will just edit, but I will not save. Okay, no history. History will just display the commands or the last commands that you have entered. It will display the last commands that you have entered. So you've determined, this is the command that I have entered a while ago. So you can just type in and then like that. In Windows and Linux, there are what you call bash key sequences. If everything that you if you have done everything and it still fails, or the application has hang up, you can do Control C or Control Z to go back to the prompt. Okay. Now we'll discuss basic Linux permissions. So in Linux, there are only three permissions. This is read, write, and execute. If applied to files, you can read the contents of a file if you have the read access. If you have write access, you can modify existing files and their properties. If you have execute permission on a file, you can execute files that contain executable code. These four permissions, also applies to directories. If you have read access to the directory, you can see the files inside the directory. If you have write access to the directory, you can create or delete files in the directory. If you have execute permission in for a directory, you can activate a subdirectory with the cd command. So in Linux, there are entities for files and directories. That is the owner of the file, the group mates of the file, and the other users that will access the file. So if we will do ls minus l, the first three characters is for the owner. The second three characters is for the group, and the characters, third three characters is for the other users. Shortcut for the permissions for each file are wx, which means read, write w, execute is x. So let's say I want to change the permissions of this file named test9.txt. The current owner permission for test9.txt is for the owner, it has read, write, access only. For the group mates, it has read, write, permissions only. For the other users, it has only read, access. Let's say I want to change the permission for the other users. I want them to have no access for the test9.txt. So users will not have access to test9.txt. Other users will have no access to test9.txt. Okay, so what I will do is chmod o means for other users minus, because I will get rid of the read access for the test9.txt part, and then the final. So if you do ls minus l, other users will not have access anymore for test9.txt. Let's say I will add execute permissions for test9.txt for the owner. Okay, I will add execute permissions for test9.txt for the owner of the file. So what I will do is chmod u plus x space and then the file. If the test9.txt has now the execute permission for for the test9.txt for the owner entity. We compare this line to this one. It has now wx permission for the owner. You can also do this one. If you don't like this command, this option, you could do numbers. Let's say you are an expert in math. You can do this other way to change the permissions of a file. You can do numbers. The same thing, the first character is for the owner, second is for the group, and the third number is for the other users. Okay, so let's say we will annotate this one, Sage Mode 755 file name to test8.txt. Sage Mode 55 test8.txt. Look at the difference from here to here. Look at now the permissions of the owner, the user, the group, and the other users. So how can I determine what permissions to use if you will be using this numeric option? Read is equivalent to 4, write is equivalent to 2, execute is equivalent to 1. Let's say the first character for the owner, why 7? 4 plus 2 plus 1. And that is equivalent to 7, which leads to this one. This one for test 8. So the next is for the group. Why 5? We need only read and execute. So read 4, execute plus 1 is equal to 5. So this is read and execute. Then the same with the other users. 4 plus 1. If you want to change the ownership of test8.txt, you want to change it to another user, owner. You can do this command sudo ch own user 2 like this JV test 8.txt. The owner of the file has now changed and I am logged in as JV. If I will edit test 8.txt, test 8.txt, I don't have write access anymore because it is already owned by user 2. So I need to log in as user 2, but I forgot the password. I need to log in as user 2 so that I can change the file test8.txt, edit the file shape test8.txt. So every time you create a username in Linux, it will automatically display a group with the same name. So the user for this account is JV. The group called JV is created automatically. But if you want to add a group only, you could do this with the command add group and then the group name. So the group, let's say user 10 or group 10. If you want to verify if the group has been added, you can go to this file, group 10. Okay. If you add, if you want to add another user to the group, You could just edit this file. And then let's say I want to add the username JB to the group, then group. Save it. And JB is already added to the group, then group. If I want the test8.txt, change group name to group 10. I can do this command sudo on user2 group 10 test8.txt. I will do ls minus l. The owner is user2. The group is group 10 for this file test8.txt. Let's say if you want to add another user on this system, there's a command add user, and then the username. So let's say user10. It will ask for a password, and then press enter, and then press yes. So if I will log in as user10, I am logged in as already 10, user10. Log out this first, and then I go back to this file. There will be a certain group because it automatically added the user 10 after creating the user. You could also delete the user. Okay, sudo userdel user10. So if I will log in again as user10, I cannot log in anymore because the account has been deleted. Let's check if it has been deleted from the group file. Yes, there. Because we only deleted the user, not the group. If you want to change the password of another user, you can do this command sudo pass wd. Let's say I want to change the password of user1. It will ask for the new password. Let's say I want to log in as user1. Password is 123. So I can now log in as user1. Okay. So if you have any questions, feel free to message me or approach me during the lecture hours. Thank you and goodbye.